Well, we're idiots. We're both idiots, but we're idiots in the age of information.
Right.
Like, we're so much more informed today, even the dumb amongst us, than anyone that's ever lived, than any civilization ever. If even the really brilliant people, you go to Thomas Edison or someone, if you had Thomas Edison alive today, he wouldn't know jack shit about the way this world works, because there's too much information that doesn't apply that you need today, that he just didn't have.
He'd have a rough few weeks.
It would be a long time before he totally understood what the fuck was going on. But my point being that you're talking about people that were the most informed people in the world during their time. The regular person today is way more informed than them on so many different things. Even if it's just instantaneously by being connected to Google. If they have the will to check, there's more information now today than your average dumbass can just grab a hold of it and use it for an argument. More an instant than anybody that's ever lived.
Yeah.
So all these people that Newton was dealing with, oh my God. Yeah. How many of them even could read?
Right.
How many of them just believed the most unbelievably retarded shit and thought there were demons waiting for them in the woods?
Sure.
And thought that they had to do the will of God, otherwise the apocalypse would ensue, and they have to lock up Galileo and make sure he doesn't tell everybody that the Earth is in the center of the universe.
Yeah, most of them, man.
How do those guys get through when we're complaining about a tweet? Right. Oh man, I got so much fucking hate for this tweet.
Yeah, right.
Galileo got locked up for being right. They put him in house arrest. One of the most brilliant astronomers and one of the most important people in the world at the time, and maybe even ever, when it comes to getting the people to try to understand the perspective of what we're dealing with when we're looking up into the heavens.
Right.
That it's very possible that you're looking at something that absolutely doesn't have an end.
Right.
This isn't something we can define, and it's proof positive that the pettiness and nonsense that we wrestle with on a day-to-day basis is a fucking fantastic distraction from the eternity above our heads at any given moment. And this eternity that you're trying to attach to a book that was clearly written by people even fucking dumber than us, even less informed than us, with less information, more scared. The oldest guy in the fucking tribe was 19, right? Everybody's dead by the time they're 30. Everybody's got gangrene and malaria. But your mom got eaten by a crocodile.
You should just learn anything. Get good at anything. It doesn't matter what the thing is that you're getting good at, because if you understand how to get good at this one thing, you can extrapolate from that how to get good at almost anything. There's these recurring patterns that happen. And so with archery, it's really cool because you have to keep all these variables the same. No matter what your environment, if you can learn to keep these variables the same, if you're on a hill, the distance, in the wind, whatever, if you can learn how to hold these variables the same, which is the anchor point, the way your arm holds the bow, the way you pull the arrow back, the way you release the arrow, there's all these pieces in there. And if you can keep all of those the same or close to the same with adjustments based on whatever your target happens to be, then you're going to improve in your accuracy if you keep changing your variable, if you keep moving your arm up or down or releasing in a different way or whatever. If any of these things are always changing, you won't be as accurate over time. So from that, you can grab that and look at your life and realize oh shit, man, my life, I've just been readjusting all these stupid variables over and over and over again without just for at least a month attempting some rhythmic pattern, some similar thing, and when you start doing that, it's really interesting because you begin to improve in a lot of, in everything in general, so to me, it's I think these people like Newton, I think the great people of the world, they discovered this very specific pattern that if you apply yourself to it, then you will begin to flourish. And that pattern is written about in most scriptures. It's probably somehow hidden in the goddamn Temple of Solomon diagrams. It's probably in there somehow.
I've been thinking a lot about this. I've been thinking about a lot of this in applying to why things are attractive and beautiful. Because I've been freaking out about views lately. Because I have this friend, and he doesn't give a fuck about views. Could not care less. Doesn't go anywhere. Just works, and in his house, like that was our last concern was the view. We're indoor people. This guy's just constantly indoor, watching Netflix, working, watching Netflix. And I was thinking, like, what is it that I like about a view? Like, what the fuck is it? Like, why? Why is it important to me to stare like a moron out into, like, what is beauty? Like, what is this thing that I'm seeing? When I see snow-capped mountains and clouds rolling across a mostly blue sky and the sun rays hitting the green leaves, to me, it's like some sort of a calming drug. Like my body is being given some stuff that it needed. And I wasn't getting it when I was inside the house. I wasn't getting it when I was in my car.
Right.
I needed to be there, and it was giving me this thing that I can't put on a scale. I can't measure it with a ruler, but it's a thing. It's a real thing that you're experiencing. I think all those things that made us alive in 2016, all those things they're a part of like our requirements. And because so few people fill out those requirements, I think that's one of the reasons why so many people are depressed. And I think the beauty is because those beautiful things that we look at, almost always, they represent places where life flourishes.
Right.
So it's almost like as people wandering across the world looking for food, if you saw all of a sudden green grass and fruit hanging from trees and animals, and there's snow, so there's snow-capped mountains, which means there's a river, there's water, we can drink the water, we got food, we're gonna live, we're gonna live.
That's right.
And so you would see that beautiful, bountiful forest in front of you, and it would feed your requirements.
And it tells you something, because it tells you this huge secret.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's a conspiracy where people don't want you to know this, because it's obviously something you know, but the earth supports you, and the earth will take care of you. If you work hard, the earth will take care of you. Not work hard as in like work hard in your factory or your company, but suddenly when you realize there's a force that transcends the laws of humanity, and that is nature, and then you realize that if you know how to like I was telling you, I'm trying to learn how to start a bow fire right now.
Right.
And
you gotta get a bit like that dude.
There's different ways of doing it. I mean, I just want to start a friction-based fire.
That guy was doing.
Like that guy was doing.
It's going to fuck your hands up.
I don't care. Ooh. I want to do it. I want to experience it. And I want to know that I can do it. And but what starts happening when you're doing shit like shooting a bow, and you realize like, whoa, I could do this. I can like hit a target. And then the implication is, if you needed to, you could hunt your own food. You wouldn't have to go to a job. You wouldn't have to get enough money to buy the food. If you get good enough at this, you can hunt your own food, and it doesn't matter who's paying you. And if you can start your own fire, you can have heat no matter what. And then if you can build your own shelter, you can have a shelter somewhere. And all these things, they comfort you in a way, because it seems like so much of our society is based on inducing this incredible insecurity that if you don't keep marching in place, your life is going to fall apart because you have become a slacker, and you've gone against the pulsation of modern society and
improvement.
Yeah, exactly, and that's
Conquer.
An anxiety-inducing place.
Yes.
So it's a scary place to be. It's like, fuck. So like, shit, man, I got to pay this much for taxes, and I got to go to work this many hours a week, and I've got to like all of these things that I have to do. I've got my fucking credit card payments that I have to make, and if I don't do that, I'm in trouble. You're like abiding by a false system. It's a real system, but it's not the real is like the earth, where if you're on the earth and you're walking, you're not thinking, shit, man, rent's due next month. You're thinking, I've got to find food to eat. I've got to find a place to take shelter. All these things are very simple, and there's no human in charge of it. You're not making a call to the woman at Bank of America asking her why she froze your card up because you used 2 parking meters on the same day that were close to each other in a weird place, and now you're not able to buy dinner. When you're in the nature hunting, there's no operator that you call to complain about the lack of food or to complain about the weather. It's just truth, pure, unadulterated, 100% truth. And when you're in contact with truth, it feels fucking great. It's relaxing if you've constantly been basing your perception of truth on what other people are telling you it is. I think that's part of the comfort of it.